think, in the dark realm, the same way as you perform? Or
I do. I mean, yeah, what you see on stage and what you see in the movie is really me. It's just me amped up. It's me turned up to 13, as I like to say. But it is. I mean, I wear black all the time. I wear eyeliner all the time. That's me. That's actually so much of in my performance. And then, because I'm basically playing myself in the movie, even though I don't reference myself by my own name in there, it's kind of like that's kind of like I wanted a little distance from myself, so it didn't just look like, my own, like just a show, because it would feel like just a show. I felt that it was just my name. It's kind of like in Purple Rain, where they never call Prince, they call him the Kid and stuff like that. It's kind of that thing, to distance yourself from your own work, even though it is you doing your own work. So, So yeah, but that's me. That's my lifestyle, and that's what I'm really like. That's what brought me to that. I mean, I know people, in an acting role and stuff. Even in that, I mean, it was that persona that in that look that I cultivated, that is me, was what got me invited into horror films in the first place. Because when I studied acting in theater, years ago in college, I studied that for the stagecraft. I did that to make the show better, the live show better. So I had the stagecraft and the acting and all that technique in my toolbox. I never, at that point when I was studying it was all for the show and the illusions, the Gothic illusion show. It was, I never considered going on and acting on its own. And it was years later, down the road, then I had friends who were directors came to me and said, "Oh, we love you looking at me. Would you be in my horror film?" And I'm like, "Yes," because it's the same audience for me. The same people that like, horror and dark sci-fi and fantasy and things like that are going to like to see my stage show. Because it's all Gothic illusion and it's all involves the same kind of subject matter. It takes its inspiration from horror and the paranormal, the supernatural, and the occult, and all that. And that, so it crosses over the audience-wise nicely. So when I got my chance to be in a horror film, which it geeked me out immensely because I'd always wanted to be in a horror film because I love them so much. So when I got on set the first time when we were making the item that we were talking about earlier, I loved every minute of it. I loved the gig. I loved acting. I loved doing it. And I said, well, I'm going to do more of this. And then when your first film goes to Sundance, you think, oh, well, this is going to go great. So, and it's not, it wasn't the endless, parade of, Sundance success with every film I was in after that. Indie film in the world of indie productions and indie TV and stuff like that is a lot harder than that. But it was so fun and so satisfying, and gave me exposure to a large part of my audience that, through larger media that otherwise I don't think I would have gotten to, quite the same way or as fast. So, and then I just liked it because it sets me apart, because there's no other illusionist really doing an illusion show that's dark in the same way that mine is, and none of them are starring in horror films. So it really gives me a unique position in the world of entertainment, because I'm really the only guy that's doing exactly what I'm doing, which I love, and it just worked out really well for me, because it's all kind of under that dark culture umbrella. Which is what gets me into here to talk to you on a show about the paranormal and stuff like that, because I love all that stuff, and that's kind of where I'm at. So that's just kind of the whole kind of overview of how that all happened.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what movie you played a doctor in one movie, like in a mental institution or something. Maybe I'm mixing you up with another actor. I don't know.
No. There is something else. It's also on Amazon. It's called Arkham Sanitarium Soul Eater. And I think that's the one you're thinking about.
Yeah,
it's very much infused with Lovecraftian legend and lore, from the Lovecraft writing and stuff like that. And it kind of parodies the found footage genre very nicely. So it's funny. It's great. It stars Shannon Brown. and it's made by Julian Grant as the director, and great stuff. And it's fun. I've got a smaller role in that, but it's really a good role. And so if anybody wants to check that out, that is also on Amazon.
Now, did you die in that movie?
It's a spoiler, isn't it? But
I'm sorry.
That I'll talk about it. If anybody is out there, I'm just telling you now, this is a spoiler.
You had a problem. You had a problem in the movie. Let's leave it that way.
Yeah, there you go. And you're absolutely right. I did.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
Well, hey, Michael, you got any more questions? I mean, you're really quiet, and that's not like a lawyer, the paranormal lawyer, to be quiet.
Yes, you're right. I'm just fascinated by you guys' conversation here and drinking it all in. But there is something I'd like to ask Ron. Is how did the Sundance audience react to your film there? I'd be really interested to hear about that.
They really loved it. I mean, it was so different. I mean, it got a worldwide release on home video after that, but didn't get any sort of a theatrical release, which was a shame because it was a really good film, but it's really, really different. I mean, Dan, who wrote and directed the film and also stars in it, Dan Clark, he called it an art exploitation film. And it's got a little bit of, I mean, it is. I mean, I'd love to say that, what Sundance said about it, because I think I kind of share that, if, in a nutshell, that's kind of what it is. It's like Quentin Tarantino on acid. Lots of gunplay. It's 4 criminals that meet this doctor in the desert in the middle of the night to buy this item. And I play the doctor, Dr. Odie. And at first they were going to do this. It was going to be a 50s lab coat kind of guy. And then they said, no, we want to do something different and funky with it. And that's when he called me and said, hey, would you like to play this part in the movie? And I'm like, hell yes, I'm in. Done. And so, Dr. Odie is, in the movie, I've got long blonde hair and I'm wearing glasses and this silver PVC suit and everything. He's really funky. He is, really on his way to like a rave or something or some nightclub. And so he and his assistant, Nurse Nikki, wind up in the middle of the desert, selling
Wait
this
a minute,
creature,
Ron. Wait a minute.
To these guys.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Nurse
Mm-hmm.
Nikki?
Nurse Nikki.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I caught that right. Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're right. Yeah. Could be the title to a more provocative film right there, but no.
Did she look like a Nikki?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Then they did a good casting.
Yeah. So absolutely did. And it was fun. And she was very petite, and she had. I'm trying to remember her name. I can't remember her name off the top of my head because it's been a while since I've seen her or actually looked at the film. So she was petite, and I remember she was saying she had played one of the droids, the robots on Power Rangers. So again, talking about a suit that it's hard to go to the bathroom in, that she did one of those gigs. So really funny, but really nice. And it was really fun. She was lovely to work with. But so that's the premise of the film, and that's where it starts, is that scene. So the audience, and especially after they set it up by going, this is Quentin Tarantino on acid, the audience loved the film. They were super enthusiastic, and they came out, and it's like, then there was, we were there for the screenings, and it was really fun to go to Sundance and actually see your movie on big screens. And for screenings at Sundance, it was just, that was kind of surreal, especially just starting out my film career. And people were coming up and they were wanting autographs and everything right there. So the reaction to the film was really good because it really is kind of an art exploitation film because it explores and touches on so many different aspects. That movie, it's like there's some crazy stuff that looks like, a bit like a John Woo film. There's some, interesting gunplay and choreography with that. There is, a creature in the film. There is there are transvestites in the film. It kind of runs the gauntlet of really cool and weird underground cinema.
Now that creature, was that the creature in the box, if I remember right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know that, Michael?
It is.
The Creature in the Box.
No, that's a surprise to me. But I've got to see this now to get up to speed on The Creature in the Box.
Well, you know what you need to do, Michael. You know what you need to do. Okay, this weekend you need to, get your easy chair, set up, go cook some popcorn, go get yourself beer if you drink beer, or a glass of wine or a soda, and put your popcorn next to the easy chair. Get a comforter, sit in it, and relax, and watch it.
Yeah,
and while you're at it, you need to go buy Dark Realm too. You know that. You need to go on Amazon and buy it.
Yeah, I probably want to see those both during the daylight hours, right?
Well, do you now, Michael? Do you have any pets at all, cats or dogs?
No, I don't. I'm petless at this time in my life.
Well, I'll fix you up with some pets, and then you can sit there and when the cat runs out there screaming, you know that's the time to turn the movie off.
Yes, exactly.
Well, yeah, when you're watching Dark Realm and the item, have a loved one or a service animal nearby, and maybe a good stiff drink, and then enjoy the movie. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It makes it more interesting too. You know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yes.
Yeah, when I was younger, some of the best movies I ever watched, I was half stoned, not on drugs, on alcohol. I'd have
I loved midnight movies and things like that, and people where they were high and they were drinking, and some of them like you go see Pink Floyd's The Wall on a big screen and stuff like that, and people are taking psychedelics, and it's like, whoa! It was just it was an amazing experience to go see some midnight movie and actually in a theater with other people who are enjoying it and altering their state while they enjoy stuff like that. It's pretty amazing.
Well, I get drunk. I'm a cheap drunk. I get totally drunk on a beer, and I'm totally drunk. The thing is, I can drink a beer and watch Custer's Last Stand and totally get freaked out on it.
Oh yeah, you got to have some good stuff. I have a nice skull full of vodka here. I was, which is perfect for horror films.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Mm-hmm. Is that Dan Aykroyd? No. Is that?
Yes, it is. Dan Aykroyd. It's Crystal Head vodka, and I got some. My birthday was last Friday, and I had some people over to the dungeon, and we had a little snake cake and some vodka in a skull. So, thank you, Dan Aykroyd, wherever you are. If you're out there listening, thank you.
He's a cool. He's a cool guy. I say that because I have met him, and that's awesome. He's really into Harley. Big time. I mean, years ago, even 10 years ago, he still rides. He's really, obsessed with riding a Harley motorcycle, which I am too. Yeah.
Awesome.
That's like William Shatner is going to be on our show here shortly. And the same way.
Oh, very cool.
He remembered me from meeting him. He was 2 years ago doing a road trip, was the sponsor. Yeah. On a what they call a trike, 3-wheel motorcycle. And I ran into him when I'm on the way to Las Vegas myself. He was in a cafe, and a lot of people didn't really recognize him. There was a lot of groupies around him. His people, but they didn't realize that was William Shatner. For somebody in his 80s that looked like that. I don't know what vitamins he takes, but I want some.
He's holding up great, isn't he? Good on him. He just keeps trucking. It's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Very cool.
I like people like that. It's just. Yeah. And here I am.
That's great. You're going to have him on the show. Are you going to have Dan on the show? Have you got to talk to Dan Aykroyd on the show?
Dan was supposed to have been on my show back about 10 months ago, but the day he was supposed to be on the show was the day one of my pieces of equipment quit working, and I tell you. It was really hard getting him booked because I had to go through his agent, and and then they classified me as a no-show. So what can I say?
Oh no!
But But I got a lot of other. I got a lot of coming up here in the next couple of months. I got some real famous people, and you actually are really famous. I mean, like I said, the 3 times you've been on the show.
I'm working on it.
I mean, I had.